Hello, friends and family. Been thinking about making this video, but I don't really know what I want to do with this video. So here's the start of it, I guess. I'm gonna talk about trying to conceive and anxiety, having anxiety with it. And I'm not sure if I intend for it to be like more for family, to just kind of be involved and know what's going on in my life, because most of my family is 2,000 miles away, or if I want it, kind of for the public to help if somebody has anxiety in this stage of their life as well. But we'll see what happens. I'm thinking I may also kind of like these videos just to kind of document for myself, to kind of look back on. It might be kind of fun. But anyway, my name is Jana Bolin. I am 24 years old. I live in Arizona. I have a dog, and don't tell Papa, but here she is. Snoozing. Come here. Snoozing on the couch. My pretty girl. So my husband and I have been married for 2 years now, and we have been together for 6 years. So it's been quite a while. We have been homeowners together now for 2 years as well. Yeah, life is good. Life is good. He's done with school. I am finishing up with school. I should be done with school this summer. It is now March, so I should be done with school in August. And that was kind of a wild ride in itself, because I went through a lot of different plans of what I was going to do for my major, and that's kind of why it's taken me so long. I graduated high school in 2015. It is now 2021, so this will be my second associate's degree. I'm really excited. I think I finally found something that I really like, and it's medical billing and coding, primarily the coding part. I'm really liking medical coding. It's very interesting, lots of room to grow, lots of different ways to expand on that. But my degree is going to be an associate's in health information technology. Now, I'm probably going to be talking a lot about anxiety. If you want to know kind of where I'm coming from, or if you just need some general help with anxiety, I have made a couple videos on that. So I made a history video, my history of anxiety, and I've also made 2 tips, things that I've learned about anxiety so far. This video is going to be geared more towards anxiety concerning pregnancy and motherhood. So it's a little more specialized than that. So I have anxiety. It is clinical anxiety. It gets pretty bad sometimes, and I'm unmedicated, and that's by choice. I was on medication, as you'll see in my history video. I was on medication, but I kind of just entered a different phase in life, and I got off of that medication, and things have been pretty good, pretty okay. I definitely have some episodes where it's bad, but not bad enough for me to get back onto medication, because there's lots of downsides to medication. I don't want to be discouraging to those who are thinking about medication, but especially if you're trying to conceive and with pregnancy, medication is hard to figure out what's going to work and what's going to be compatible with pregnancy. So I'm kind of scared pretty much about that, because I know that with anxiety I can take medication. It's worked for me before. I know that I could do that, but with pregnancy it's a whole different situation, because a lot of psych medications you can't really take while pregnant unless it's the good outweighs the bad. The benefit outweighs the risk. So I'm obviously trying to stay away from medication still. And I've had some luck with kind of just waiting for some of the anxiety bouts to pass, which, I'm thankful that my anxiety isn't 100% constantly. It could be that. And there are people who have anxiety 100% to 100% max level constantly. I have to thank my lucky stars that it comes in waves for me, and waves means that it goes away at some points. And that's kind of what I hold on to keep me afloat. So, like I said, my husband and I have been married for 2 years. We've been together total for 6. I have just felt that craving, that need to be a mother for probably like 5 years now. It's a little wild, I know. Not all women get that craving. Not all women get that feeling, and that's totally okay. But some women get that craving, and it's totally irrational, I guess you could say. Like, even if you're not in a position where, you should bring a child into this world, your body and nature kind of just says, that's what you want. Sorry. So it's been a long time that I have wanted to become pregnant and to become a mom. And I don't know, life has been weird because I'm finally, at least within the year that we plan to get pregnant, because I plan to finish school this year. That was our plan. I finish school and then we get pregnant. So that was the original plan, that I finish school and then I get a job and secure it and we save up money and I get pregnant. But I don't know what clicked recently. I don't know. I just felt an overwhelming sense of peace towards it, and that it was just the right thing to do for us to start trying. Obviously, I know that sometimes it takes a while, and that kind of factored into it. It could take us a year to get pregnant. So if I wait another, until the end of the year when I'm done with school, it could take another year on top of that. So it kind of just felt right. It felt like a revelation. It was kind of silly. I was getting into the shower one day and I just felt like all of my fears kind of lifted about it. Obviously not entirely, otherwise I probably wouldn't be making this video. But it's so funny, just the difference between a couple weeks. A couple weeks before I had that revelation, I felt so scared and almost sick to my stomach with fear about pregnancy. And the fear, for me, it's not about becoming a mother. I feel fairly confident in that, which is kind of weird because that's the opposite of what most people feel. They fear having to take care of this tiny, squirmy, poopy, screamy baby. But I think it's probably mostly because my best friend has 3. And there's a lot of babies in the family, and I've had a lot of exposure with children. Even from a young age, I took care of babies. I took care of kids. And I also volunteered in my hospital's NICU for a hot minute too. So that kind of, I guess you could say, desensitized me to how scary it can be to care for a tiny, fragile infant. But that's not the part that scares me. The part that scares me is the discomfort. And that sounds stupid. It sounds silly. But for me and my anxiety, what triggers my anxiety is feeling sick. And as most everybody knows, that happens when you get pregnant, especially with morning sickness. And most women get morning sickness. It'd be really nice if I didn't. I am hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst, I guess. Expecting the worst. Yes, I moved rooms. But I don't know why, but feeling and being sick is just a huge anxiety trigger for me. And it makes it feel like the end of the world. When I'm sick, I feel like I'm never going to get better. And I'm scared for pregnancy because of that. Because, it's at least if you get morning sickness, probably 6 weeks of nausea that you can't really make better very well. But it's I feel like when I'm anxious from feeling sick, it's just chaos. But that's kind of funny because it's kind of what motherhood is, right? A little dash of chaos. But I don't know. I think that I have to remember that there are ways to help it, and it's normal and it's good and it will pass. What I'm scared of is anxiety peaks that last too long, because obviously it's not healthy for the baby for you to be stressed out to your wits' end with anxiety. I'm just really afraid of unbearable anxiety that I can't snap out of. And I mean, I've always snapped out of it unpregnant, but I don't know how these hormones and this whole process is really going to affect me. And that's kind of what triggers anxiety, is a fear of the unknown. Having an anxiety peak like that makes it hard to balance obligations. And perhaps the most important thing for me, obligation-wise, to balance is holding down a job. For our finances, we can't exactly afford for me to not work. But so I need to hold down a job, you know? And in one of my past videos, I had said, you know, understand your anxieties and troubleshoot. Understand what would help that, what can make that a better situation, and go and get it. Do the legwork to get it. What's going to help me? If you have seen my other videos, you know that traveling scares me. And it's like, it doesn't scare me, it just stresses me out. It causes an anxiety reaction, and it's so stupid because it can be like 20 minutes away and I will still like get really nervous about it. So what would help that? Working from home, duh, right? So that's part of why I'm doing medical billing and coding, because oftentimes those positions are available as work from home. From what I understand, it's mostly experienced people who get those positions. My goal is to get like an entry-level job that's work from home, something, I don't know, but I also can't discount myself, especially in the age of a pandemic where a lot of jobs are just naturally shifting to work from home. I need to put in my best effort to make it happen. So we'll see what happens. If not, I'll probably survive, but I'm trying to, I don't know, put my faith in myself, make it happen. Trust myself, trust God, if you will. I don't know, just trust that things will be okay. Another thing that's kind of funny to me is the fact that I'm not necessarily afraid of birth, at least at this point. Check into my later videos. I have watched so many videos, consumed so many resources on the topic. I watched my best friend give birth. I feel, not that I know everything, but I feel like I have a lot of tools in my toolbox. I've watched a lot of YouTube. I follow a lot of YouTubers. One of my favorites is Nurse Zabe and, oh, what's her name? Bridget Taylor, Mama Dr. Jones, my sister-in-law, Beloved Gagnons. There's a lot, and I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and really, YouTube is your best friend. Oh, Jess Hover is another one. If you, especially if you have anxiety or anything mental health, look up Jess Hover. She's amazing. I love her. Another really big important factor in all of this is that I have a really big village. I know, like, most of my family on my side is like 2,000 miles away, but my husband's side, he has a big family. He has a big family with lots of kids and lots of experienced and willing and able and helpful and loving people that really, if one thing calms my anxiety about all of this, it's that I have an amazing village. Um, Not to mention my parents too. They're like right down the road. Um, so yeah, having a village is really, really important. So like I said, I kind of had like a point where it felt like a revelation. Like, this is it. Like, we should start trying. And I think that a big factor in that was that I thought to myself, okay, I have all these fears, and they're not entirely unreasonable fears, but what am I going to do about it? Am I going to not become pregnant and have a child and build a family because of those fears? Am I just not going to do it? No. So why not just do it now? Why not just do it scared? Seriously. If I'm gonna do it later, like, there's no point in waiting because of fear. I can't let the fear be the thing holding me back from what I really want. What am I gonna do about it otherwise, you know? And one important thing to remember is, at this moment, I am okay. And just really kind of basking in that. At this moment, I am okay. And with anxiety, it really, like, you get so ahead of yourself. You really, like, just start freaking out about things that haven't even happened and that may not even happen. And it just feels ridiculous. And I know it's irrational, and, you know, you could logic it out all you want, but it's just chemical to some extent. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to use mantras and use every little tool you have in your toolbox to help yourself. And one thing that just really helps is just, right now, I am okay. Check yourself. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, I don't feel very good, and lie to yourself. Tell yourself, I'm fine. I'm squeezing in my brain, which is causing the squeezing in my stomach. If I can release that squeezing in my brain, your body's going to follow. Your mind and your body are completely connected. So we started trying February 2021. I have been off of birth control for about 2 years. And I have been tracking my period for probably longer than that. I am very, very fortunate that I am very regular. That's going to help a lot. And I started using the ovulation strips to track, and boy, what I've learned in just the first month. I Googled, of course, we all Google, but always, always take it with a grain of salt. Always consider your sources. Are they legitimate sources? And always remember that every woman is different. Every cycle is different. From what I thought that the ovulation strips were going to show it ramping up. That didn't happen with me, and that caused me a lot of anxiety. I pretty much had like low, 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 and then peak, and then it ramped down. So I was getting really stressed out because it wasn't ramping up. But yeah, I'm not going to get into details because hopefully this is intended for family, and my husband is a very, very private person, and I am very much not. I am a complete open book, which is funny that those two people are married, but yeah, I'm not going to get into details. But first round was not successful, and that's okay. I was really hopeful, but that would have been crazy if we got it on the first round. But I'm trying to find peace in the fact that, you know, it's an extra month for us to save up. We learned a lot in the process, and it's another month for us to kind of grow together. But really, remember, every woman is different. So if you're trying to conceive and your levels do different things than mine, of course it's gonna do that. Every woman is different. It's okay. My point is, if you Google and you see all this stuff online that it's happening one way and yours is happening another, don't panic. Just be patient with yourself. If you're concerned, absolutely talk to your doctor about it. There's no better person to talk to about this stuff than your doctor, who knows you and knows what they're talking about. So I am using the Premom app to track everything. I've also used the Flow app, but I highly, highly recommend the Premom app. It's purple. Find it in the App Store. You don't have to pay for it, but you can get those little ovulation strips off of like Amazon for super cheap. But this app, you can take a picture of them and upload it, and it's going to calculate your LH ratio, and it's going to do pretty much everything for you. All of the tracking is wonderful. I love that app. And it'll tell you when you need to start taking 2 tests a day, and really download that app. But I'm going to show you my paper chart that I made too, just because, I don't know, I'm extra. It was a lot of fun to kind of make it look official, I guess, and track everything that way. So here it is. As you can see, here's the little tests. And as you can see, I was doing it twice a day for a while and it just wasn't moving. And then all of a sudden, like, you see the difference between that one and that one. It's like barely anything and then very dark. And then it tapered off down. So yeah, everybody's different. So when we found out that the first month didn't it didn't work, it was depressing. And I felt silly for feeling so bummed about it because it was just the first month. Like, I don't even have anything to worry about yet. But it's still kind of depressing, especially when you have a handful of friends around you who are accidentally getting pregnant. And when you're trying to conceive, it's so funny because you just start to think, how in the world do people accidentally get pregnant? Because when you're trying, it doesn't happen, right? I've heard a lot of people say that when they stopped trying is when it happened. So then it makes you think, okay, well, should I not? But what? It's confusing. Trying to conceive is confusing. I hope that helped somebody. I hope that the next video I upload is gonna be good news. We're entering the next cycle now, so hopefully. It's a little scary, maybe having a December baby because of Christmas and everything, but you know what? You can't plan everything to a T. You can't. And if you know me, you know I try. But I mean, my best friend has told me time and time again, like, you gotta be a little flexible in parenthood. So this is me trying to be flexible and just stop worrying about those little things.